My fiancé said, "I can't do this anymore." "I'm in love with your best friend," I replied calmly. "Thanks for being honest." Then I called my best friend's fiancé and sent her the screenshots. They both lost their engagements the same day. When she showed up crying outside my door that night. I'm 30 male, and up until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had my life figured out. Good job in software development, a fiancé I'd been with for 4 years, and a best friend I'd known since college. His name was Marcus. We'd been through everything together: failed classes, bad breakups, his dad's funeral, my mom's cancer scare. When I proposed to Emma 2 years ago, Marcus was the first person I called. When he proposed to his girlfriend Sarah 6 months later, I was his best man at the engagement party. The 4 of us hung out constantly, double dates every other weekend, group chats that never went quiet. Emma and Sarah became close too, which I loved. It felt like we were building something real, you know? Like we'd all be in each other's weddings, and our kids would grow up together. Last Tuesday, Emma came home from work around 7. I was on the couch working on some code, and she just stood there in the doorway with this look on her face. Not angry, not sad, just empty. "We need to talk," she said. I closed my laptop. "Okay." She sat down across from me, not next to me, and that's when I knew. You always know. "I can't do this anymore," she said. Her voice was flat, rehearsed. "I'm in love with Marcus." I remember the exact feeling. It wasn't shock. It was more like everything suddenly made sense. The way she'd been distant for the past 2 months. How she always volunteered to pick up food when we hung out so she could ride with him. The time I walked into the kitchen and they both got quiet. "How long?" I asked. "Does it matter?" "Yeah, Emma, it does." She looked at her hands. 4 months. 4 months. A third of the year. We'd celebrated her birthday during those 4 months. I'd taken her to that bed and breakfast she'd been wanting to try. We'd had sex. We'd talked about wedding venues. "Does Sarah know?" I asked. "No. And Marcus hasn't told her yet either." That's when something clicked. They'd discussed this. They'd planned it. They were probably planning to sit us both down together like some kind of cruel couples therapy session. "Thanks for being honest," I said. She looked surprised, maybe even disappointed that I wasn't yelling. "That's it? What do you want me to say?" "I don't know. Something. You can stay here tonight if you need to." "I'm going to my brother's." I packed a bag, grabbed my laptop, and left. I didn't slam the door. I didn't cry. I just left. I got to my brother's apartment and told him everything. He wanted to drive back and handle it, but I told him to wait. I needed to think. Then I remembered Emma had left her laptop open on the kitchen counter that morning. We shared a cloud account for photos and documents. I logged in from my brother's place and found exactly what I expected. A separate folder titled Travel Ideas that had nothing to do with travel. Messages between her and Marcus going back 4 months, like she'd said. But it was worse than I thought. Screenshots of conversations where they talked about us, about me and Sarah. One message from Marcus. "He's too focused on work anyway. He won't even notice until it's too late." One from Emma. "Sarah's been talking about wedding dresses. I feel bad, but also like we can't help how we feel." They'd slept together, multiple times. At his place when Sarah was visiting her parents. At our place when I was on that business trip to Austin. I screenshotted everything, every single message. Then I called Sarah. "Hey," she answered. She sounded happy. "What's up? Are you home?" "Yeah. Why?" "I'm sending you something. Look at it before Marcus gets back." "What? You're scaring me." "Just look." I sent her the entire folder, 23 screenshots. Then I waited. She called back 4 minutes later, sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. "Is this real?" she kept asking. "Tell me this isn't real." "I'm sorry," I said. "Emma told me tonight." "That fucking coward," she said, and I'd never heard her swear before. He was supposed to come home in an hour, and I was making his favorite dinner. I was making him dinner. We stayed on the phone for almost an hour. She cried. I didn't. I think I was still numb. She told me she was packing a bag and going to her sister's. I told her I was at my brother's. We agreed to regroup in a day or two. That night, Emma called me 11 times. Marcus called me 8 times. I didn't answer either of them. Update 1. By morning, the fallout had started. Emma showed up at my brother's apartment at 6 a.m., banging on the door. My brother answered and told her to leave. She started yelling in the hallway about how I'd betrayed her trust by going through her messages. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. You cheated on me for 4 months, I said from behind my brother, and I'm the one who betrayed your trust? You had no right. Get the fuck out of here, my brother said, and closed the door. Marcus tried a different approach. He sent me a long text around noon. I know you're angry, and you have every right to be, but this isn't how I wanted you to find out. Emma and I didn't plan this. It just happened. We tried to fight it, but some things are bigger than us. I hope one day you can understand that what we have is real and that I never meant to hurt you. You're my best friend, and that will never change. I'm sorry, man. I really am. I read it twice, then blocked his number. Sarah texted me that afternoon. He came by the house and tried to get his stuff. My dad was there. Let's just say Marcus left without his stuff. That made me smile for the first time in 24 hours. But then around 7 p.m., Emma showed up at my brother's building again. This time she was crying. Like full breakdown. My brother wasn't home. I saw her through the window and I made a choice. I'm still not sure was right. I went down. She was sitting on the steps, mascara running down her face. He broke up with me, she said when she saw me. I just stared. Marcus, he broke up with me. He said Sarah's family is threatening legal action because of some prenup clause, and he can't afford to lose his business connections with her dad, and he said we need to take a break until things settle down. I almost laughed. Almost. So you showed up here because what? You want me back? I made a mistake. She sobbed. I don't know what I was thinking. We were good together. We can fix this. No, I said. We can't. Please. I love you. I always loved you. You told me you were in love with Marcus. Yesterday. 24 hours ago. I was confused. I was scared about the wedding, and I panicked and... Emma, stop! But she kept going. She grabbed my arm. She said she'd go to therapy. She said she'd do anything. She said Marcus had manipulated her, which was rich, considering the screenshots of her saying she'd been fantasizing about him for months. Go home, I told her. Pack your stuff. You have until Friday. Where am I supposed to go? I don't know. Marcus's place? She flinched like I'd hit her. I went back upstairs and watched from the window until she finally left. Update 2. By the end of the week, things got messier. Emma moved out, but not without trying 3 more times to talk. I had my brother and 2 friends there during the move to make sure she didn't try anything. She kept crying and looking at me like I was supposed to comfort her. I didn't. Sarah and I met for coffee on Saturday. She looked exhausted. She told me Marcus had been calling her non-stop, saying it was all a mistake, that he loved her, that Emma had seduced him. Same script, different audience. Are you okay? I asked. No, she said honestly, but I will be. What about you? Same. We sat there for a while, not really talking, just existing in the same fucked up situation. They deserve each other, she finally said. Yeah, they do. She asked if I wanted to get dinner sometime, not a date, just 2 people who needed someone who understood. I said yes. Marcus tried one more time to reach me, this time through my coworker. He sent a message saying he wanted to apologize in person, that he owed me that much. I told my coworker to tell him if he ever contacted me again, I'd forward all those screenshots to his entire family and his boss. That did it. He stopped. Emma's mom called me, which was surreal. She apologized for her daughter and said she didn't raise her that way. I appreciated it, but it didn't change anything. The following Monday, I found out through a mutual friend that Marcus and Emma tried to make it work for about a week after everything imploded, but it fell apart. Turns out their great love wasn't so great when it wasn't a secret anymore. Shocker. Sarah texted me a few days later. He's been posting sad quotes on Instagram. I hate that I still look. I replied, block him. It helps. She did. 3 weeks out now and I'm doing okay. Not great. I have days where I'm angry and days where I'm just sad. I canceled the wedding venue and lost the deposit, which hurt. I've been staying with my brother but found my own place that I move into next month. Sarah and I got dinner twice. It's not romantic. We're both too fucked up for that. But it's nice to have someone who gets it without me having to explain. I don't miss Emma. That's the weirdest part. I thought I would, but I don't. I miss who I thought she was. I miss the future I thought we had. But her? The person who could do that and then show up crying because it backfired? I don't miss that person at all. Marcus sent one final message through his cousin. Tell him I'm sorry. I didn't respond. There's nothing left to say. I heard from that same mutual friend that Emma moved back in with her parents and Marcus is seeing someone new already. I hope they're both miserable, but honestly, I'm trying not to care. As for me, I'm rebuilding. One day at a time. Sarah's doing the same. We joked about starting a support group for people whose partners cheated with each other. Maybe we will. Final update. It's been 4 months since everything blew up, and people keep asking for an update, so here it is. Emma reached out again about 6 weeks ago, not to apologize, but to tell me she's in therapy, and her therapist suggested she get closure. I told her I didn't owe her closure and blocked her number. Again. My brother saw her at a grocery store last month, and she apparently tried to ask about me. He walked away without answering. I'm grateful for him. Marcus, from what I've heard through the grapevine, has been through 2 more relationships since Emma. Both lasted less than a month. His business did take a hit. Sarah's father pulled some contracts, and apparently word got around about why. I'm not going to lie and say that didn't feel like justice, because it did. He also got kicked out of our old friend group. Turns out nobody wanted to be associated with what he did. Even the guys who used to make jokes about bros before hoes looked at the screenshots and said he crossed a line. Emma moved to a different city about an hour away. She's working at some startup, posting Instagram stories about new beginnings and choosing yourself. I don't follow her, but mutual friends send me things sometimes. I always tell them to stop. I don't care anymore. That's not bitterness. I genuinely don't care what she does with her life. Sarah and I are still friends. We got dinner last week and she told me she's seeing someone new. A guy from her gym who doesn't know Marcus and has zero connection to any of this mess. She seemed genuinely happy when she talked about him, and I was happy for her. She asked if I was seeing anyone. I'm not, but I'm okay with that. I've been focusing on myself, hit the gym more, picked up guitar again, been hanging out with my brother and some old friends I'd lost touch with. The weirdest thing happened 2 weeks ago. I ran into Marcus at a coffee shop. We made eye contact. He opened his mouth like he was going to say something, and I just walked past him like he didn't exist. He didn't follow me, didn't try to talk, just let me walk past. And honestly, that felt better than any apology ever could have. I moved into my new apartment in September. It's smaller than the place I shared with Emma, but it's mine. Every piece of furniture is something I picked out. There are no memories attached to the walls. I can breathe here. Someone asked me in the DMs if I regret sending those screenshots to Sarah. Number. Not for a second. She deserved to know. We both deserved to know. And if Marcus and Emma had actually been honest instead of sneaking around for 4 months, maybe things would have been different. But they weren't, so here we are. Last thing I'll say, my brother asked me the other day if I thought I'd ever trust someone again. I told him I don't know. Maybe. Eventually. But I'm not in a hurry. I spent 4 years building a life with someone who threw it away for a fantasy. I'm not doing that again until I'm absolutely sure. Life's weird like that. You think you know someone, and then one day they look you in the eye and tell you they love your best friend. And then you realize maybe you never knew them at all. But you move on anyway. And some days, that's enough.